Such a nice streamer background.
Oh.
So you have such a nice streamer background.
Close. What's this thing?
Gotta adjust the window size just right. Did you see there's supposedly a black mode in beta for Airtable?
No, please bring
Thank
it on.
God. I have to turn on a black mode plugin every time you see how
Oh,
bright
really?
this is on my face?
Yeah.
That's the black mode. It just hacks the CSS on the page, but it's just like
Okay.
blinding white.
It is blinding. Sitting next to Gmail side by side, it's a lot of white screen in my face at this hour of the morning.
It's great looking at light bulbs.
Yeah.
Well, how many robots did you buy, Jem?
Good morning. Are you not even going to say hello? Just going to
Hello.
jump
No, I need to
to
know.
the questions.
He hasn't even told
Uh,
me offline. I've been texting him about it, and he's held it till now to tell me how many robots he's bought. I've gotten tease photos. I don't know. There's little ones. There's big ones. There's all these robots.
half a dozen.
You bought 6?
Yeah.
What do you do? I'm just gonna buy a couple. How many does he have to start with?
That was all of them. I bought them all.
Doing a favor.
It's just too good.
Uh,
Couldn't
yeah,
help myself.
I've thought about it a lot since you brought this up. I'm like, God, that does sound great. If you knew what you were doing, you could get these going.
Yeah, so the three big ones, three small ones. Um, the small ones basically are in questionable condition, or a bit. There's some unknowns about the controllers. So it was basically buy three big ones, get three small ones free package. Um,
I love it. I try to do those
and
discounts on Shopify all the time. It never works out right though.
and yeah, so basically, like I was very upfront with my budget, and my budget had been sort of informed by basically just by my previous musings on cobots, and also what like just
Mm.
the equipment that I want to sell here to help cover it. And he was like, and I acknowledged, like, I know this is not enough to clear all of them for you. And then we negotiated a bit and went up a little bit, and yeah, there you go. Gem and the Robots is coming true.
Gem and the Robots. Do we have a song for that? Did we ever make a Gem and the Robots?
I think you did early days. I feel like you did.
Gem and the Robots. Oh, it's just what we called the first episode, so
That was the first
maybe there's
episode.
a song in
Wow.
there. It's just
Maybe.
called Gem and the Robots. I don't see any clips, but also we edited that in Logic, I want to say, and I remember the file size of the Logic file being like gigabytes, and I was like, we are what are we in for here? I thought this was audio, like why is it so big?
Yeah. So 139 episodes later, the
Yeah.
robots are coming. But yeah, I have a plan. The third of the larger ones I want to sell pretty much immediately, I think. And Richard Blackwell, I know you're listening, Richard, just has a nose for this stuff and called me out of the blue the other day. And we're having chat, and he's been getting quotes on new ABB robot manipulators of pretty much this size. And it was just like universe aligned at that moment. It's like, it might not work out.
Robot friends.
But robot friends, and he might take the third one off my hands. So yeah, could all work out nicely. We'll try and get the little ones online. Might be useful, might not be, but see what happens. But yeah, the main ones I'm interested in / focused on are those two in the photo I sent you. One with the HSD tool changing spindle, and one that's just got that currently got like a little baby spindle on its head, which looks ridiculous.
It looks so cute.
Uh,
I couldn't tell if it was perspective or like it really did have a tiny spindle, like,
yeah, it's really little. It's probably
or
like,
it was enormous robot.
yeah.
What's
So
the
yeah, there you
payload
go.
of the big ones? Are they the same?
225 kilos, I think. A few Justins.
496 American pounds.
Yeah.
Whew, that's amazing.
Hmm.
Have you told the
Um,
crew yet?
yeah. Yeah. The crew know they're coming. Um,
And they're like a mutiny. This is my job. Don't take robots. You're
no,
taking
no.
my job.
No, it's super interesting, isn't it? Like, because we call them robots. They're just like, it's just another CNC machine.
The boss
And
gets defensive immediately.
yeah, yeah, the boss gets defensive. It's like, no,
No,
shut up,
I'm not
Justin.
firing you. I swear.
No, but it's an interesting conversation because I've been very aware of this as I've, talked about it
Yeah.
or broken the news and been evidently excited about it. Um, it's like, well, how is it different to the wide belt sander or the CNC or anything else you program to save labor that has
Yep.
a function?
Yeah.
And yes, they're more capable than a wide belt sander, thus wanting to replace the wide belt sander with one. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. We call them robots because I guess they have more human-like movements and gestures, and it's an arm. It's closer to human, but yeah,
Yeah.
interesting question.
It's I've noticed that time and time again. Like my YouTube showed me a bunch of robot stuff in the last few days. I shared one here. I discovered a company I didn't know existed called Seven Robotics, south of me in Oregon. It's a couple hours, but there was a cool video on how I linked it here about how they're doing things for the wood manufacturing industry, and it was pretty intense, like series of kind of like what you're showing, right? Like or what your seller is showing, and a lot of video on it, like how they do different types of operations with a handful of robots and not just picking them up sheets, but like inspecting them and like
No, no. Yep.
processing with like there's one shot in particular. It was really wild. It was an assembly line of moving, oversized, not cut to size, veneered plywood sheets and multiple routers that are like 20 feet long, gantry wise. And the sheets are passing underneath it, kind of continuously moving, and the router just goes back and forth in X, Y. It's like
Wild.
or X, I guess, and Y
Yeah.
is moving. And there's multiple heads on two different gantries, like maybe I don't know, 2 or 3 meters apart. I was like, that is mind blowing. So I don't know. There's a lot of this,
Crazy.
and the CEO of that company or the president that was being interviewed was immediately also had this kind of like, no, 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 we're not place.
No.
Maybe some, okay, maybe some, but then they'll get better job. It's like it's always the same conversation, and it's just I don't know. It's always the same. I don't have a problem with it, and I think it's good. And like one of his defenses, which I think is pretty true, is like we can't get people to do a lot of these jobs anymore. Like
Mm.
nobody wants to do it for the cost of what maybe is the money to pay for it. And it's like the robot ROI they said was they like to see 2.5 years of ROI on the investment.
Okay.
And if it's under a year, it's like it's just not realistic usually to get that fast of a payback on the investment. And obviously, these are new machines and all the engineering and stuff, but
Yeah.
um, anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Like I've justified it to myself. I've justified the idea to myself of like, I don't like seeing Ben or Rowan like sanding through a huge pile of kit parts bevels. Like it's slow, arduous work,
yep,
highly repetitive, and we want to be able to sell. We want to be able to increase our capacity of our core products and sell more of it, which means more
right,
sanding of bevels.
mm-hmm.
And there's much better things on the shop floor that Ben or Rowan could be doing than just working through a
Right.
pile of repetitive parts, and so it's not. It's about replacing that bit of someone's role, not replacing a person by any means. Um,
Yeah. I
yeah.
remember Pearson forever ago. Saunders did a video of visiting Pearson like three shops ago, three different workshops ago. It was a long
Mm.
time, right? 15 years now or something. Um, and I remember them talking about robotics and automation and lean because I think he had just gotten a robot and had a lot of trouble integrating it. But his statement, which is basically what you said, was like Pearson was like, people are really smart. They don't need to do repetitive things. I want them to use their creative minds and not, wear their fingers to the bone doing this repetitive motion over and over. Um, and I think you said it better, and it really kind of stuck with me in that way that like that is the selling point. People don't want to lift plywood sheets and flip them over and try and inspect them, where a robot with AI can do that much better. And so anyway,
Yep. Yeah, I'll
yeah,
check out that video. Yeah, I had a funny
for
moment the other
yeah,
day
old.
where I knew you'd sent it to me and I'd opened it and then I couldn't find where you'd sent it to me. So I watched a little bit of it. But so
Which one was this?
the 7
The
robotics video.
the Seven Robotics. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that timber one that you've linked in the show notes. I'll check
Yep.
it out.
This might be it.
What's happening?
Did you hear that?
No.
Saunders' old intro music.
Oh wow.
This is it, I think. I think I found it. It's an 8-year-old video called Awesome Lean Machine Shop Tour Pearson Work Holding.
Awesome. Great. Can't wait to revisit that one. So yeah, things and stuff. I've spent my week researching rapid code, which is what these ABB robots use.
Rapid Code?
Rapid is their programming
Is that an
language.
acronym?
I don't know, probably. And it's awesome, and I'm very excited about coding these
Hmm.
things because Rapid is
Hmm.
just like compared to G code, it's just like you can do that, and like assign all these variables and have if this then that loop while blah 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 blah. It's just like yes, I can see the potential. This is gonna be fun.
You're learning it. You're learning it raw though, like no AI, right?
I'm using AI to teach
Yeah, I
me.
was gonna say. Yeah, right. I couldn't imagine trying to even. I opened an ABB library and it is 1,760 pages as a PDF.
Yes, I opened some of those too and closed them immediately. No, that's not true. I opened them, looked at them, and then I gave them to a new sim theory agent and said,
Oh,
"Learn,
learn.
Uncle Sven. You now have all this knowledge. You're an expert ABB rapid programmer. Teach me your ways." And Uncle Sven delivered. So yeah,
Sven.
that's been fun. But
Huh.
I was back. I went back there yesterday. So yeah, yesterday morning went back to Melbourne. Spent about 2 hours with the robots again, getting some hands-on handover training. Got taught how to jog them around and home them and put them to sleep and use the 20-year-old teach pendant. And yeah, it's pretty fun.
Hmm.
Mm.
Interesting. Well, when they get to a place where they feel like they've hit a limit, that's one of the things that David's company does is like upgrades their brains, which I don't know that always ends up being cost effective, but he like could rip out all the old stuff and put in new, which is wild. Um,
Totally, yeah.
I don't know.
I've been
Not gonna do
pondering
that
that
for a while.
with the little ones that have issues with the controllers, whether that's something we look at down the track, like
Yeah.
newer open source control for them. I mean, they're just a stack of servos, right? Just about.
I think so. I
Yeah,
don't know. Yeah. I can't
it's just
imagine the brains are very brainy.
I mean, they do. They're computing the pose on the fly based on positional data, so they're doing some brain work. But what's that? Inverse
Right.
kinematics or whatever it's called. So yeah, they're doing work, but anyway, that's something to investigate
Yeah. Right.
if I
Yep.
can't get the little ones working. But yeah, so yeah, that's why I've been pretty overwhelmed and just in robot mode this week.
Oh, I bet.
Um,
Try to do anything else.
oh mate, I had one good quoting session, but otherwise I've just been so scatterbrained this week.
Yeah, I know that
Yeah.
feeling. Me too.
How's your week? What's happening? Did you cut that enormous aluminium?
Uh,
Did you say yes to the slab of aluminium?
no, I didn't take the 4x8 sheet. There's just it's just too much risk. Like,
Yeah.
um, I think if I would have done something more like it before, there's two things. More like it before, as well as I've enjoyed the Shop Saber. It just isn't an industrial machine though. Like it's not it has so many issues, our machine specifically, and I think this is common with the maybe the level of machine I have. And I think most of it's just like when it's running Y axis up and back like too often, like face, let's say it's just doing a big parallel pass on anything, it overheats the servos because
Ah,
of some braking problem that has been there since I bought it,
okay.
like early on. And
Interesting.
I was just trying to imagine needing to do super light cutting on a giant sheet of aluminum. And I was like, I'm just going to run into servo errors constantly. And it has
Yeesh.
to rehome every time it does that,
Mm.
which it repeats well, but every machine's it's getting a little bit older. And I don't trust, if it doesn't have to rehome, I would trust it more and more. But I was also expecting it was going to be like multiple days of the same side. And like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
high
a huge
risk.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you got,
I also
yeah.
couldn't figure out a good
Ugh.
way to flip it. Like, I never figured out. We would have probably, but it was going to be 300 plus pounds. I don't know if I talked about this
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Probably didn't.
Maybe that was
We were
after
still
we
quoting,
hit record.
considering quoting this 2-inch thick slab of aluminum, entire router bed size, and it was going to be 934 pounds, and it needed to get down to 177 with like an 1/8 inch floor between two giant pockets on top and bottom, and I would say 40 or 50 through holes around the outside for like obviously like bolt through holes, and they were like 12 mil or something like that. And like that, my router just like has no torque to drill holes like that like almost 2 inches deep in aluminum. Like
Yeah. The
just
chance of it
that the
warping
holes
mid.
alone, I was like,
Yeah. I saw the
yeah,
file. The chance of it warping like mid operation on that huge pocket would have been so high, like lifting off the vacuum table or like just something
yeah.
horrible. So yeah,
If I had
makes
some
sense.
some newish Onsrud with a 10 horsepower, 15 horsepower spindle,
Yeah.
light mist, I probably would have tried it. There's also just one more thing. Like if I'm going from 900 pounds of aluminum down to 177, that is 2 to 3 times more aluminum than we take to recycle typically from the mill from one job. We'd be swimming in aluminum chips that aren't contained by
Yeah.
a machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, we didn't take that
Fair
one, but I did
enough.
get another of our one of our good long-term clients we do mill work for. Um, hi got
Ding
an order.
dong. No.
Um, we do have another job that's probably the biggest parts, second biggest parts I've ever put on the mill. They're like almost 20 inches long by 7 inches deep and like half an inch thick. And they need to go from 15 pounds down to like 1.5. That's like a 90% reduction of material.
Yeah.
And they're big. So I bought a smart vac. Pearson makes these vacuum plates that just uses like I don't know what that what the system is that converts air pressure into a vacuum, but he's got a sweet little thing
Yeah.
where you can like.
Venturi vacuum.
That's what.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
I always want to call it like Bernoulli, but that's like architect, I believe. Or maybe that's
Yeah,
Bernoulli. I
those
don't know.
things
It's
look
been too
cool.
long since. Very cool.
It's
And
pretty
turned
much
out
what I
that
want to make.
I asked. Right. I
Carry on.
I think you can do it cheaper, but it's a nice off the shelf, ready to go
Yeah.
thing. Um, and a friend just so happened to have the exact one I needed, so I got it for about half price.
Ah, sick.
Super good deal. So that's gonna be my op two, and that's my big project for the next week
Great.
or so. Yeah.
Yeah, those things look great. I've got like a mini like timber woodworking version of that. A couple of them, like these little
Oh,
pods that are probably like
right. Did you make
two
them?
inch. No, sorry, 250 by 250. No, but they're very pretty simple things. I've kind of looked at them, tried to reverse engineer how they work, and they seem very simple. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Venturi vacuum. You just switch air on, and it just pulls air out one
Yeah.
side, and that creates enough vacuum to hold. And they're super strong. I use them whenever I'm doing like edge banding with our handheld Festool edge bander.
All right.
Just screw them to the bench, and I've got a foot switch, a pneumatic switch on the floor that I can just
Oh,
turn them on
right.
and off. And they're pretty much exactly what as I'm starting to design the kind of robot cell for sanding. I'm like, cool, you've got pods to hold the workpiece. You got a pod on the end effector that can pick shelves up and switch the vacuum on and off. But yeah, and it's like just
So
like a grid of things you can move a gasket around to get different hold down patterns, basically. If you're not familiar with these things, they're pretty simple, cool things.
yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Huh.
I like it.
Interesting.
So this
Yeah.
this part
It's
is
gonna be
from sheet. Like how thick's the stock for this part?
one inch,
1 inch. Yeah.
25 for. Um, yeah, huge. I mean, like that. We got it in sticks. That do you know that sticks of aluminum here they come in 144 inches, so like 12 feet. But it's just like such a random ass number to me. Like, oh, I need a stick, and it's just 144 inches.
That's pretty long. That's like
Yeah, it's huge.
it's like 3.6 meters. It's
Right.
impractically long for putting in vehicles. And
It does not go through our door. So normally we get sticks because it's like the cheapest way to buy aluminum is you just
yeah,
get it in a
right.
stick and like the saw that I bitch about all the time, we cut it
Yeah.
up and I actually can fit it. This is a good reason we bought the new saw is it fits to cut on the saw and I could get the material like 4 or 5 days faster than if I had them cut it for me. And
Yeah.
the cost is kind of negligible to get it that way, but we do that for like for our pedestal parts and stuff. We cut it down ourselves, and
Cool.
um, anyway, it I had to forklift it off the truck because it was it's like almost 400 pounds for 2 pieces of aluminum. It's like this is not normal for us.
Nice. Do you like getting those sorts of jobs?
I like this client a lot.
Okay.
They are great to work with, and I think of it as like it's decent money in Fusion, and then like this is pushing me to try things that I normally don't do with the mill, and I think that's good for then turning that into something that I potentially use for products or
Mm.
just
Skills.
expediting other jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I've never used vacuum on the mill or really outside of the router, which is low pressure compared to most. I don't know what I'm going to get out of this system, but I think it's going to be more than 10 psi.
Hmm. Because what's the other Pearson thing you've got? That's not vacuum, is it? That's just the
No,
pallet.
it's a quick change plate called the Pro Pallet system, I think.
But also pneumatic
PPS.
in terms
Yeah.
of how it locks down.
He uses a little air chuck, I want to say he calls it, and it's all like a 1/4 inch line. So our normal air line for like just our whole shop system. It has a little line in, you pull it up, and I forget which way it goes. It either pushes there or stops there, and
Yeah.
then balls expand on
Ball
these two
lock thing.
posts on the
Yeah.
base, and they
Yeah. Yeah.
ball lock
Yeah.
it down, which has been good. It's been good to. I bought it with the intention of like making switching between things faster, and I think that really helped. Like we don't have to dial in a vise or like tram in a vise or like most fixtures, just drop it on and go.
Yeah. That's cool.
I think if I was suiting up a whole new like mill, I'd probably, which I don't even know at this point, but I'd probably look into the whole like Lang plate stuff and see what they might offer as, you know, Pearson pellet's nice, but it's like it does really limit you to like personally, I don't ever want to move it because
Mm.
then I've got everything is tied to that position and like the relationship to other things on my table, like the tool setter and stuff like that. So it's just like I don't want to go through and reconsider every file that we use for products again, and I would like it to be a little more flexible than that, I suppose. I
Yeah.
don't know. Just my brain, I guess.
I was playing with a Datron Neo last night briefly because I went on my way
Oh,
home. I swung past Australian
the Datron
Manufacturing
store?
Week. No, the Datron stuff.
Hmm.
The trade show was on this week, and I'd hoped to go with everybody and like go with Rodeo and
Yeah.
just time. There wasn't the week for it. Didn't there were
Yep.
not enough hours, but then I was coming back from Melbourne later than I expected, so I was like, no, stop it. I'm not going to get home in time for dinner anyway. I'll just go and catch the last 2 hours of the show and go and
Cool.
apologize to the Cobot rep who I'd been talking to Cobots about and fess up about the fact that I just bought 6 secondhand ABBs. And Davis, I'm sorry. um, but he's also the Datron rep reseller in Australia.
Oh,
So he's
what a job.
showing me around the Datrons, and it's the first time I've ever actually played with the interface. Like I've seen videos of it, always thought it's cool, but it's just like it really is like the future of CNC. Like it's just so bloody smart. Everything about it so beautifully designed. Obviously got a great
Yeah.
design team, great UX designers, great industrial designers. Like just the way the system works
Mm-hmm.
is so intuitive. Like you can just stand there in front of this control for the first time, like swipe to probe, and like ooh, feature here, and boop, 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 and the little touch probe comes down. It's just like very beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful interface.
No, it's just makes so much sense.
Yeah, so cool. Um,
I don't think I've ever played with one myself. I've
mm,
I've been close to them at shows, but it's still most tool shows. I guess I've never asked, but I've never gone, "Oh, let me just see. Let me
tap
pound
it,
this
tap, tap,
control,
tap. What happens?
This is fine, right?" It makes me think
um,
of like what my son would do if he had access to all the buttons. Oh,
yep. Yeah, my kids are quite excited about the new Swedish friends that are coming. Understandably,
uh,
I don't think they understand,
so
but
what's the plan? Are you inheriting the cage, or are you going to try and do a vision or like sensors?
uh, this is all to be worked out. I really haven't designed this yet.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm not inheriting the cage. The cage was very specific to his space and his needs. I don't think there's
I see.
much point trying to bring that with. I would love to do it with like lasers, sensors, sight, line of sight sensors, or maybe a camera system. If I can get away with not having bloody caged fences everywhere, that would be lovely. Yeah,
Yeah.
things I need to work
Do you have
out.
to have people like come and inspect it then to like approve it? Is
Yeah,
it really
if
official there?
you
Yeah.
got to do a risk assessment, um,
Wow.
and determine that it's safe. It's also like I didn't realize, there's very distinct modes on them. You can basically put it in like a teach mode where you have to stand like under
Oh,
and in this thing to home it when you turn it on. Like you're right up in
yep.
its guts. There's pinch points everywhere, and you like jog, 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 jog to align the axes before you home it out. And the encoders find their
Mm-hmm.
home base and stuff. And you can just run it, and you can verify and simulate programs in that kind of slow feed override mode.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I need to work that out. I've got ideas of how I'm gonna
Sure.
make it safe and contain it and stuff, but need to do a lot more work in that zone. Yeah. But the other night I was here till like midnight trying to get the pencil sharpener back online because it had had a crash and it was all of its offsets were stuffed. I had to retune it all. And it's been a while since I've done a full recalibration on the pencil sharpener myself. That's been John doing those. And so I was just like, it was getting late. I was just cursing this thing, stuffing around trying to reassign all these work offsets. I was like, this was like 24 hours after I put the deposit on the robots. It's like, what have I done? I've just bought like all these 20-year-old controllers that I'm going to be cursing for the rest of my life. Because Cameron, our multicam was down as well with like this stupid Windows 98 compact flash error that I couldn't clear. So I was like, I had two, I think I texted you, I had like two or three machines were dead. My machinist was
Yeah.
away. And I was just like, no,
Oh God.
can't do it.
Right. Ugh.
But
It makes me think about the Snazzy Labs guy who I
Snazzy
watch on
Labs.
YouTube every once in a while.
Who's that?
He did a video on the kind of state of self-driving in cars,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Tesla versus Rivian and I don't know, Hyundai. I don't know what the other one was. But then he, at the end of the video, he's like, but what if there was like an add-on brain you could do? And this still kind of blows my mind, but it made me think of like the parallel to what we could do with just robots. It would be so much easier, as
Uh,
there is many multiples of open source self-driving modes that are run through like $1,000 piece of hardware you connect to your car, including his like Rivian R1S SUV. It takes over and can like drive the car through like a little like basically like a cell phone brain, like a processor, an old Snapdragon processor. And I was just trying to imagine, I was like, would I trust that at all? Like somebody's like open source self-driving system? But like just take that idea though. If it's got equivalent amount of miles supposedly as like Tesla's
what?
car driving. So somewhere near, like up close to that, millions and millions and millions of miles
How?
to confirm and approve its like brain, right? And just
Wow.
think about what we could do with like it would be so much easier to do this with like a six-axis robot than a car trying to not kill people
Exactly.
or moving at
Yeah.
70 miles an hour or
Mm.
whatever that is in kilometers.
Yeah, frightening. That thing needs a cage and a risk assessment.
Put that Rivian in a cage.
Yeah, it
I
was
couldn't
kind of.
believe it was $1,000.
Yeah, that's
Like that
wild.
just seems so cheap. Tell me it's 10 grand. I go, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes
You know,
sense. Yeah. Okay, I'll drive it now. So Cameron, I think both of my
that's right.
multicams are like running on a geriatric compact flash card. And
Maybe
as I was
that's what our mill's supposed to use.
troubleshooting the other day, the controls said, plug in a VGA monitor to the output port on the CPU. I was like, what? There's a monitor output down there somewhere? And I open up the box and it's like, oh yeah. It's got those like old mouse and keyboard plugs, like the green and pink, like
Oh
outlets
my
for an
God.
old mouse, and like
It's not that old though,
a
right? Like,
VGA. It's 2015. A
yeah,
VGA
like our
monitor
mill.
output. So I went and found the right cable, which thankfully I had, and plugged in a monitor. And it's like there was the Windows 98 boot screen with like as I turned the machine on, I was like, what the hell? Anyway,
That's wild.
it continued to fail to boot corrupted cards. So I'll try and fix that this
Those
weekend.
things, in my experience, so I fully moved away from using them. Like I will have to use it potentially on this upcoming job to drip feed, but if you don't like eject them perfectly, they corrupt.
These
Like
things.
and I have never ejected a damn thing from a computer in my life until these
Oops.
cards.
Good to know.
Because if I don't, it's only did I get it to work on a Mac? I think I finally did, but for a while I had to use a PC and I had to properly eject it and use this special FINIC like PCMCIA card
Oh, this
reader.
was for your
And it's
mill.
like this,
Yeah.
my bitching about the mill was some of this was just like this is madness for like even
Mm-hmm.
2015 to me. And then good old Pete save everybody in my position by like I can just plug in this little Raspberry Pi with a USB and upload from my VS Code, and bam, I've got a file on that
Damn
little
you.
drive
You
right
did the
there.
chatter thing, didn't you?
Maybe you can do that with your
I want to
robots.
do the chatter thing.
I bet you could, honestly, because it just emulates a USB drive. So, do you have a USB card on
The
the?
the little the three smaller kids have USB input. The the big ones have Ethernet only.
No, that's not
So
bad.
that's
That's
okay.
good then.
I can
Yeah,
FTP stuff to them. Yeah.
but even your routers, I bet you could. I don't know how those work, but
They have USB input. The three routers have
it's
USB.
open
Yeah.
source. Just
I know,
grab
I've
the
always been a bit scared of it, but like I need to chatter. Give it a go.
Chata.
Need another project.
Such a
Bring it on.
cool thing. Yeah, get a
Yeah.
project.
Yeah,
What's the
totally.
guy's name? Person's name? Rowan? No.
Radio.
That does your Rodia. Rodia. Yeah. Have them hook up your. They seem highly technically capable.
Radio is
Get on the USB.
very technically capable. Yeah, she'd nail it, I reckon. So, mm-hmm. What else is happening?
I have a bit of a thing that I decided finally to share. I guess I had mentioned I've been working on this thing called AirShop with
Yeah,
a person I know named Brady.
I haven't chatted about that
Brady,
for a while.
uh, yeah, ended up getting a full time job, which he'd been looking for a while,
Yeah.
and does not have the time and brain space with his family life otherwise to continue. So I am I have been interviewing other developers. Um, it is a tough go, but I'm still looking, and my reason for bringing it up is I haven't talked about it in forever. Part of
Yep.
that reason is that we have a really good state of like it's pretty close to being like testing phase, which is part of the frustration for myself of like it's close, so close to being like people can use it. And um yeah, so if you have references of people with React web
React
capabilities,
code. Yeah.
I'm looking for different, I don't know. Ideal would be like a co-founding technical person, developer, but I'm also interested in what else there might be
Okay.
because
Cool. Yeah.
I'd like to get this out in the world
Mm.
soon and be using it myself. Um, and as we all know, my coding capabilities are vibe coding. So let me know if you have somebody you might know or you yourself.
Yeah. Sick. Put it out there. Yeah, it would be great to see that product come
Yeah.
to life because I think it's cool and it's got
Hmm.
potential. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Call Justin. Call Justin now. 1-800 vibe coding. Uh,
Make like a Gorbo like style like
yeah.
ringer little advertisement.
I did a. This is a total tangent, but it's related to the vibe coding thing. Of Laura and I did a pasture short course last week, learning how to manage
Posture?
our
Like
pasture better, healthier, regenerative, grass care, for increased soil health and
I went
in our
all over the
paddocks.
place. I did not know where
You didn't know where I
didn't
was
know
going
what
to
you were
there.
talking about. Then I thought it was physical posture, and then I was like,
Not pasta,
increase your soil quality. I was like,
pasture,
what?
pasture. Think
Gluten?
Nebraska. Think Nebraska.
Got it.
Put that hat on. Oh, you've got that hat
Speaking
on
my language,
and shirt already, so you're ready for the tractor. But
sir.
coming away from this course, it's like, what's it called? It's called like strip grazing, and you break up your paddocks
Oh,
into much smaller areas, and you get like you cycle them every 24 hours, and you
right.
get like way better soil health
24.
over years. But coming away from
Yeah.
it, I was like, oh, there must be a better way to manage like this. And then I was in the car on the way home. I pulled up Sim Theory and like create with code. I was like, can you make a little mobile applet for me that like has live GPS view of my location and a 10 by 10 meter grid overlaid, and I can tap to like tell it which bits of the paddock I've cycled through.
Oh, God.
Like
God.
single, like two shots, and I had a working app where I could like prototype of like this
That's amazing.
paddock overlay, being able to like green, red, green, red, green, green, green. I've done that bit. Yeah, pretty sick. So maybe
Hmm,
I'll
very cool.
sell that to all the regenerative farmers.
There you go. What would you call it?
Um, Justin's paddock.
Vibe paddocks.
Yeah, it's pretty much paddocks the game you could play on paper.
That's what you need to do. Saving land by gamifying your paddock. I haven't done anything that fun in a while. I've had a lot of bad. I feel like I'm in the low of like AI being good lately.
Okay.
Just not doing a lot for me.
Mm.
No good examples, but just not great. We are. I didn't mention this last week. In the middle of almost the end. It's Thursday. Tomorrow, end of the day, is our big ass annual sale.
Oh,
Second one,
it's happening.
and we're doing great so far. I'm happy with it. We just beat last year's numbers
Great.
with 15 hours left. No, 25. I can't do math. 30 hours left.
Sick.
So that's good. Yeah. I don't suspect many people were sitting here waiting to order things from our website. So regardless, it's happening. It's going to be done, I suppose, by the time you hear it. But it's been an interesting experience of like finally, I feel like a sale kind of worked for the CNC products, and my theorem of I don't theorem's not the right word theory of uh trying to replace the idea of a Black Friday sale and do it on our own terms at our own timing and do it once a year as a second time now seems to have like worked to some degree. I don't know that anybody was waiting for it, but maybe just the language of it was like, oh, they only do a sale once. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
this is my time kind of thing, which is true. We don't really do sales, especially to this level, any other time of the year. So, um, yeah, it's been nice to see it
Did you
convert.
use that obscene image that you sent me the other night in any of
I
your
wasn't coughing
promotional?
for that. I wasn't coughing for this damn ginger beer.
I mean, it
I
was
think
quite
so.
obscene.
I don't think it was it obscene. I got no
Yes.
lewdness. The the turned away version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I put that at the end of like an Instagram slides. I don't know. All of my posts have just been almost completely useless uh, lately on Instagram and TikTok. So nobody probably saw it anyway. I used
I
one of
didn't
the
see it.
images on the
No.
front page of the sale page, but it's not the probably not the one you're talking about. All right. Yeah.
Meow.
There's something else I was gonna say about that. I forget now. Nope, that's it.
Is this the same time of year that you've done it previously?
Last
It
year we
is.
did it later in May. I think my goal is to keep it in May so far. It's been just tried to pick a time that like isn't bad and isn't when other sales are happening
Yeah.
for people of the industry. So yeah, it's good. I think it was like May 20th last year. And since it was the first one, it's like, you know, it was a shot in the dark, but I did check and compare to the previous Black Friday sale, and it was almost exactly the same amount of money, which was wild
Nice.
from last year. And then this year we've just surpassed that order that flashed earlier was tipping over from last year's annual sale. So
Sick.
here
Nice.
we go.
There we go. That's great. Yeah.
Hmm. How's your nope, what are you gonna call it now? Designer?
Builder.
Configurator? The new
Builder.
configurator?
The
Builder.
builder that I still call a configurator. Going pretty well.
Con-
Um, Still haven't turned on the cart, and there was a reason for that. I know I said I would,
oh
and then
right,
I
yeah.
said I wouldn't, and then I decided I wouldn't, and I can't remember what the reason was now. I need to go back and check my notes.
Don't want to.
Don't want to. I've been having such nice. I was the problem with Gem doing deliveries in Melbourne is that everyone wants to stop and chat, and that's been a lovely problem to have. I've gone last 2 weeks and done the delivery run, and I had ended up having lunch with one customer, and yesterday stopped for a coffee with another one, and had a long chat about branding and Butters, market, and
Yep.
he actually had some really interesting ideas. This guy yesterday about he loves Kidder Parts. He loves what we're doing. He thinks we could do better in terms of how we communicate our products online. And he was floating the idea of like, what if you like kind of split them off a little bit and just like gave Kidder Parts its own website, basically its own entity.
Yep. Yep.
So
Landing
fresh,
page, right?
yeah, fresh eyes finding you for the first time, whether it's from paid ads or not, land there, and it's just like there's just clarity. It's like there's no distractions of like
Yeah.
custom or other products. It's just like punchy.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is. This is how it works. This is why it'll solve your joinery problems. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, yeah, that's
Right.
I can see that totally.
Sure.
So yeah, things to ponder. But no, sales are going okay. If I wasn't so distracted and frazzled by trying to be machinist and distracted by robots, I think
Mm-hmm.
sales would be going a lot better. Um, but yeah, it was pretty hilarious. Like, because no, I did distribution last week, and then like Butter's income account sat at 21 cents until Wednesday. So it was like 6 days of zero income
Mm-hmm.
because Shopify's weekend sales take like stupid amount of time to clear, 5 days or something.
Right. Yeah. God.
And
I forget
Laura
yours
and
just
I
takes
were
longer.
Laura and I were laughing at like here's Gem like negotiating the sale on 6 robots while the Butter bank account sits at 21 cents. It's like this feels stupid.
I did I mention that? I was in negotiations with a guy on eBay about buying a little injection mold, and
Oh, yeah.
it kind of happened the same way where like I was gonna found a way to make it work financially for like a very small little like low interest loan from my credit card, which sounds bad, but it's like it doesn't have it's super low interest and it's like really controlled, can't like build up, um, just to make my cash flow not crunch. And it didn't work out because of like a PayPal issue where like PayPal held the money the first time, so then it got sent back. And I was having the whole weekend, I was having that same thought of like the guy's being weird about because PayPal and I was like, well, I got to find another way to do it. And I finally was just like, no, this is stupid. Like, what am I, why? Like, if I can't pay for it as I maybe should safely, then I need to walk away from this. And, I still kind of feel like would have been really good. Like, the whole point was to start to make our tool tags on this little machine that can do about a 4x6
Ah, cool.
plate. Can do two at a time, and it cycles like every minute. So still looking at it someday, but they're like almost 14 grand new, which isn't
What?
really that bad for an injection mold, but like this was like not even half price. And I was like, this is such a good deal, but it's used. I don't know the guy. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
is just enough variables where I was like, I gotta walk away. I gotta walk away.
Well done. Well
Now I
done.
want it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like, yeah, I feel like a used equipment dealer this week. It's funny. Listing the wide belt,
I go
listing the
those.
edge sander,
Yeah, right.
researching pricing on the multicam because I've got a customer who I think I can sell it to.
What?
Dropped in at a
Which
customer,
one?
yes.
Both?
No, the older one. Cameron, selling
For
Cameron.
what reason? Just because you're going to replace some of the functionality with robot
No, just to clear
or space?
some shop space and to, uh, yeah, clear shop space. Thinking ahead to potential home shed move. Won't
Downsizing,
have the
right?
power to run two flatbeds necessarily. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about the robots in that respect of like they don't use much power for what they do, but also they're designed to never be turned off.
The routers?
The robots. The robot
Robots.
controllers are
I was
designed
like,
to be always
what?
on. And obviously you can turn them
Right.
off, but you
So
got to
just
like
like,
recalibrate them, which doesn't take that long, but yeah.
interesting. That'd be tough
Um,
for me to like, huh. I was just thinking like trying to save space. I'm sure that somebody's done this. Do you think anybody's vertically stacked router beds like on like little platforms?
totally could, couldn't you?
Because you could load them, you could load it with a forklift, and you'd have to have like I don't know, getting the parts off would suck, but you could
Yeah.
unload it with a robot.
Well, old mate, random routing basically does that, right? He
Yes,
pushes, he
exactly.
uses a
Right.
fresh sacrifice. I realized how he does it. He uses a fresh sheet of MDF every cycle, and that whole sheet of
Does he
MDF,
really?
yeah.
It makes a lot more
When it's
sense. It's like
when
a
it's in
pallet then.
when it's in overnight mode, it's like fresh sheet of MDF, known everything, clean, good vacuum, makes a lot of sense. You know, and a full sheet of aluminium parts is probably quite high value. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Right. I despise the idea of needing a fresh sheet of
Oh, me too.
MDF underneath
It's
each.
horrible.
I hate that idea so much, but I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Then what happens to them? Like that's yeah. Even
Right.
if they're thin, it's a huge amount of waste material.
Right. We had an inquiry for somebody wanting MDF parts to make like clocks or something. And they're like, "Do you do like?" First of all, they didn't read any of our inquiry. I have it on the list, and then like you can pick from it. It says MDF, and then in parentheses, we do not cut. So you can pick it just so it doesn't confuse people, I
I've got the
guess.
same thing. Yeah.
And then of course they didn't freaking do that or something. So then I had to send them. I have a whole standard email. It's like we don't cut it for
Mhm.
these reasons. What else can we cut? And I was just trying to imagine cutting like hundreds of clocks out of MDF. And I know it's super common, it's just not here.
Yeah. I got to run away and take a kid to school soon. But the other thing that happened here this week was Carl, who is a listener of the show, sent me a DM on Instagram
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, Jem, have you seen this?" And last
I did
weekend,
see him post that.
there's new shelving regulations that have come into law, legislation,
Uh huh.
that we must now tell all our customers very clearly how dangerous our shelves are and that they'll crush your children with a little picture of a child being crushed
Fun.
and a warning label. And we have to put it everywhere. So it's on our
Whoa.
webs. Put it on every product page has to have it. So that's done.
Holy
Made a custom
crap.
script the other night to make a less offensive block in Shopify. So if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a nice big warning there, and we now have to permanently attach some sort of label to our product as well, in a permanent fashion that shows that pictogram has that information, which is fine.
Yeah.
I've always been very risk averse of this stuff, and
Hmm.
obviously don't want
I see
anyone
it.
to be hurt by our product. So I'm all about doing it. But yeah, just trying to solve that now. Like, cool, how do we put these stickers on a modular product that you can rearrange and only use parts of it and then maybe not have the warning label and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Does it have to
So
be colored like that?
it doesn't have to be colored. There's nothing that says it has to be colored.
Hmm.
So laser engraver is where my brain's gone.
Yeah.
Burn a nice little tasteful warning into the underside of one shelf in every kit. Don't know.
Could do what about clear stickers too? Just to make it easier, I
Clear
guess.
stickers are nice, yeah. Are they permanent? I don't
That's a
know.
lot.
Guess.
It has to be all of that text. I'm
Uh
assuming you
huh.
like copied and pasted this. It's all. I hate the way it's like I don't like the ordering of it either. Place having items low. Hmm.
We rewrote it a bit
Yeah.
to
No, we
try and
have.
cover ourselves, but yeah.
Right. We don't have to. Maybe I don't honestly know if we do, but like IKEA got sued pretty hard for it, and then that seemed to
Mm,
make a pretty sizable change, and they like retroactively had all these little brackets and stuff, and like of
mm-hmm.
course when my son was starting to pull up on things, we did this mad rush to bolt things to the wall, and
Yeah.
um, for the same reason.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's nasty. And yeah, not good when shit falls over. Um, it was just a bit of a surprise to have this legislation pop up. And like, apparently, there's been a year long grace period where it was announced, but
Mm.
yeah, obviously I was not in any channels where I knew about that, so it was just like, oh, it's already in legislation. We have to do it now. Okay, let's do it quick.
Do you have to retroactively like send something to customers? No.
No, because we've supplied brackets with pretty much everything. Not everything that fits this category, but like all the main things have been supplied with
Yeah,
those brackets. So
I
I
see.
think we're okay in that respect. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Cool. Fun.
Yeah. What's on for today? The rest of your day?
Gonna go customize my mother palette. Had
Nice.
about two-thirds of it drilled before, and then I really didn't. I don't know why I didn't finish it out. I only did about half of it, maybe to save time, maybe to like, I didn't know quite how I wanted to use it. But basically, this project needs way more holes. And so I'm like, all right, just got to finish it up. So I'm like going through my Fusion file, trying to like map out the rest of the holes in the pattern. And then I actually pulled up the probe to inspect some holes just to see how close they were to the model. I actually posted code to use the probe and do this. I've never done this before. Uh, Ran it a little nervously, and it got down to the place where it's supposed to load this sub program. I take it. It was like P9628 or something like that. And it just said like error 311, no file or something like that. And I was like, oh, guess I don't have whatever that is, in the middle. Like, I don't know what that means. Obviously, it can't. I'm glad that's the error state. Is it just as like it didn't go down really fast or like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, so I'm I'm gonna trust the Pearson pallet stayed in the same place since I made it a year and a half, 2 years ago or whatever, and just continue adding holes because in the most cases of this use for me anyway of this like Swiss cheese plate, that big old 15 by 18 pallet, it's just first op, so it doesn't need positional accuracy. It's just to hold
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. Yep.
It's just a big clamping place. So that's what I'm telling myself anyway, since I can't figure out how to use my probe properly.
Oh.
We'll figure it out eventually.
Nice. Have fun.
Yep, me too. Go pack your van.
Thanks. No, kid. I'm on kids today. It's not
Go
fun
pack
for
your
me this
kid in
week.
the van.
I've got to go play with the
No.
kids.
Okay, see ya.
Bye. Beep. Beep up.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
Thing.
Only one time that time.
Oh,